So hey, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
Doing great. I'm doing great. And so, how did our paths just cross right now? How did we meet?
I'm just walking over here at Kennethon.
Okay, cool. And what did I approach you about?
About your YouTube channel.
Cool. And what are the topics we're going to discuss today?
I guess about wellness.
Okay. Well, I gave you 3 topics in particular. Do you remember them?
No.
Okay. So it was feet, mental health, and reflexology.
Okay. Feet, mental health, and reflexology.
Yeah, exactly. And in terms of mental health, are there any topics that you research or you follow?
I mean, I follow a lot of different pages on Instagram. I can't name them off the top of my head and just in my feed.
Okay, cool. Well, the information I'll share with you today in terms of the mental health, hopefully it'll be helpful, maybe something new that you don't know about. What about reflexology? You ever heard of it?
No. I mean, I've heard of it. I don't remember what exactly it's about.
Okay, cool. So this will probably be a refresher for you, giving you some information that maybe you might know and maybe some you don't. Cool? Mm-hmm. All right, let's start with the first question. What's something that you like that other people might find to be weird? I'm using the word weird for a reason. So in terms of, it could be a hobby that maybe you have. What's something?
I don't know. I don't think I do anything that people will feel is weird.
Okay. Well, I heard from one girl said she likes to sing karaoke.
Oh, okay.
And she likes to sing. She can sing, but she sings off key on purpose.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So she feels like that was something. Somebody said coin collecting, things like that. So that's why I'm asking.
I don't know. I mean, I collect shot glasses.
Okay, cool. Well, that's a good one. In terms of your body, has anybody ever made you feel insecure about your body or a body part?
Not really.
Never? Okay.
Not that I can remember.
How did you get to a point in your life where it doesn't really bother you if it did happen, or you never really think about it?
I guess I just don't really care what people think. Oh my God,
okay.
This bug.
Absolutely. Okay. And what's something that, if you could change anything about yourself, what's something that you would change?
I don't know what I would change. Okay. I think I'm constantly, improving, evolving. Yeah.
Absolutely. Okay. Cool. Okay. So how do you feel about your feet? What are your thoughts?
I don't know. I like my feet. I guess they're cool.
Okay. All right. So, but do you like them? You don't like them?
Yeah, I like them.
Okay. Have you ever received any compliments
about my feet?
Yeah.
Not that I could think of.
Okay.
I mean, maybe when I get my toes done, and someone would say, "Oh."
How would you feel if you did receive a compliment? If somebody came to you and said, "Hey, you have nice feet," how would you feel about that?
I'll say thank you.
Okay.
That's nice.
Okay. And so I'm asking because so there's usually a difference in some women feel like a difference in emotion when they get a compliment from a man or a woman. So that's why I'm asking.
Okay.
So, do you feel any difference when you get compliments from men and women?
Not really.
Okay. Cool. If you started dating someone who's into feet, how would you feel about that?
I mean, it all depends on if it's a foot fetish, and that gets kind of weird.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so you said it all depends on whether or not, if it's an over obsession or something like that.
Yeah.
What you would say?
Yeah.
Okay. And if you did start dating someone, when's the appropriate time for them to bring up things they're into? And for you to bring up things you're into too.
I'm not sure. It all just depends on the vibe.
Oh yeah, so basically it's a case by case basis. Right?
Yes. I'm sorry, this bug.
It's okay, yeah, because they're coming after me too. But let's see. Next question. How often do you get pedicures?
Well, before the pandemic, it was probably once a month,
okay.
Probably, but I haven't been in a while.
Okay.
I'll start going back since the world's opening back up. But
absolutely.
We'll see. I mean, I've just been doing my own feet.
How often do you wear open toe shoes, sandals, things like that?
When it's warm.
Okay.
Yeah.
When it's warm. How often do you go barefoot?
I don't go barefoot.
You don't go at all? Have you ever heard of grounding before?
I mean, I've done that, but I don't do that often. And then at home, I don't wear shoes in my house, but I wear a house shoe.
Oh, okay. That's what I meant. So maybe when you're at home, you go barefoot.
No, I wear a house shoe because I tend to walk on my toes, which isn't
What
good.
about at the beach? You go to the beach or you have to park relaxing?
Yeah, well, sandals at the beach, and then of course, when I get in the water.
Okay.
And I take my sandals off.
Okay. Cool. And then so lastly, let's talk about the mental health real quick. Usually I ask if we can see your feet, but I don't think we have time because
the guys I was not even going to do that.
It's okay. So let's talk about the mental health though. So have you ever heard of DBT before?
No.
Okay, it's dialectical behavioral therapy, and basically it's for people who suffer from anxiety and depression. And these are people who don't live in the moment.
Okay.
Basically, therapists tell these people to go out and put themselves in those uncomfortable situations over and over again, so that they can get used to the feeling of being uncomfortable. And when they do feel that, that they should do a self-assessment and ask themselves what's the worst that's going to happen in this situation, right? And if there's not a threat to your life or your safety, that you should proceed because you can experience like good events and moments like that. What are your thoughts about that? You agree?
Yeah.
Okay.
I guess.
You can, I know we're both trying to rush because they're kicking us out. In terms of reflexology, okay, reflexology is like the study of the different pressure points we have in our hands and feet. And these pressure points like correlate back to other parts of our body. And so through massage, acupuncture, things like that, you can alleviate stress and tension. Thoughts about that? How do you feel?
I mean, that sounds cool. Yeah. Like, yeah, I mean, I guess I would try it.
Okay, cool. All right, so lastly, the last thing I'm going to ask you, something from a mental health standpoint that you can say to my channel that's like maybe a life lesson you learned or something like that.
I saw this on Instagram the other day. It's something about like self-care is not selfish.
Ooh, I like that. That's very deep. Okay, cool. So thank you so much. I appreciate you taking the time. We hope you have a great one, okay?
Okay, thanks. You too.
Hey, how you doing today?
Hey, I'm good. How are you?
Doing great. I'm doing great. And how did our paths just cross right now? How did we meet?
I was at the beach, kind of walked up and introduced yourself and asked if I could help you out with your channel.
Absolutely. And what are we going to be talking about today?
Mental health.
And
feet.
And so mine is also about reflexology.
Okay.
So there's information that I provide that sometimes people don't know about. So in terms of mental health, right? Are there any topics that maybe you research or that you look into or anything like that you may know about?
In the past, I've researched things about depression and dealing with trauma and recovery and counseling and things like that. Just in our community and just in general.
Yeah, absolutely. So the topic that we're going to be discussing today has to deal with depression and anxiety. So maybe there will be some new information I can provide for you there.
Sure.
All right. And what about reflexology? Have you ever heard of it?
I have heard of it.
Are you familiar with it?
I am.
Okay, cool. So maybe you can let me know if the information I provide is adequate and if you learn anything new from it, okay?
Okay, sure.
Cool. Let's jump into these questions, all right? Okay. So what's something that you like that other people might find to be weird? And I'm using the word weird for a reason. It doesn't have to be weird to you, but it could be a hobby that maybe you have and other people may look at that like, that's kind of weird. Let me give you a little context. One lady told me that she can sing, but she likes to do karaoke and sing off key on purpose. Just to because she likes how that feels, just to have fun with it. So something maybe along those lines.
I've never been told that any of my interests were weird.
Yeah.
Maybe a little unorthodox.
Okay.
I like to travel on a whim, but I think that's what my lifestyle allows me to do.
Okay.
Which isn't as common, I guess.
Yeah.
For people my age. So.
Okay. Cool. Has anyone ever made you feel insecure about a body part or your body in general?
People have tried.
Okay.
Yes, but I'm a pretty confident person. But with the stereotypes and social media and things like that, there's a lot of pressures out there to be a certain way. But then again, there are starting to become a lot of people who are encouraging others and themselves to be more comfortable in their own skin. So.
Absolutely. And I think for women, that's usually something that they tend to deal with a lot more than what men do. In terms of if they're, like you said, that it's not something that you've ever had to deal with, so you don't really have to overcome that. How did you get to that point in your life where you just didn't care or didn't listen to the outside noise?
Well, I'm more so focused on what I think.
Okay.
I've always been a pretty strong-willed person and a pretty confident person. I was fortunate enough to have a good foundation growing up where my mother particularly, instilled a lot of confidence in me. Okay. And whatever I want to change, I will. Yeah. I don't regard other
You don't leave it up to other people.
Right.
Sweet.
To tell me what to change about my lifestyle or my life or my body or things of that nature.
Sweet. If there was one thing you could change about yourself, right, and it doesn't have to be physical, what would it be?
It actually would be physical. I would be more athletic.
Oh, okay.
Unfortunately, I wasn't.
You wasn't born with that gene?
Right. I wasn't created with the most athletic genes or tendencies, but now that I'm older, I see the benefits of it. Yeah. I aim to be more athletic. Okay,
sweet. But that's something you can work on, right?
Yes,
so you are working on
right.
that. Sweet.
I am working on that.
That's sweet. I like that. How do you feel about your feet? What are your thoughts?
I like my feet. I didn't used to.
Okay.
I think everybody has one foot probably bigger than the other, or one foot better than the other.
Like slightly bigger.
Exactly.
And so, but you didn't used to like them. Was it because, you didn't like the shape of them, or they were too big? Or
my feet were fat.
Okay.
But in proportion to the rest of my body.
Okay.
They just seemed fat.
All right.
But I'm comfortable with them now. I just adjust, as necessary when it comes to things I need to cater to making the style or the fit better. But when I was younger, that was a little bit uncomfortable because I was very, very thin, very, very skinny, and my feet always seemed fat working to my body.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Hopefully you'll get some compliments from this video when you do see it. So I usually get that. A lot of women get compliments from this. So have you ever received any compliments from anybody about your feet? Okay. And men, women, or?
Men in particular. I don't think any women have ever complimented my feet.
Okay. So let me ask you this question. What are your thoughts in terms of when you do receive a compliment from a man and a woman? Is it different? Your feelings about it? Is it different? Or is it pretty much the same for you?
I think it depends on the context of the situation. You know, they can be taken as genuine or they can be taken as loaded. But I think it depends on the interaction and the situation.
Absolutely. All right. And so how often, well, first of all, before I ask you that, what would you think about if you started dating someone who's into feet? Like, what would your thoughts be about that?
Everybody's into something.
Okay.
Right?
So that would be something you would be okay with?
Yeah.
Okay. When do you think is the appropriate time when you start dating someone for them to bring up that they have something that they're into?
A fetish of some sort?
Fetish or something like that?
That should be, I think, part of the initial, first few weeks of getting to know each other.
Okay. So at some point in between that time, it should come up?
I think so.
Okay.
I think you should get all the important stuff out of the way up front.
Yeah, and I've heard that from a couple women. I think you're the third person that said it. They've said that they prefer to know early so that they can kind of, if it's not, going to work for you, you can kind of move on and find somebody else, right?
Exactly.
All right. Okay, now, how often do you get pedicures, things like that?
About every 2 weeks or so.
Okay, every 2 weeks. How often do you wear open-toe shoes, flip-flops, sandals?
Most of the time.
Okay, yeah, because we're in California, right? In terms of how often do you go barefoot?
Only at the beach.
Only at the beach?
Yes.
So not even at home?
No.
Really?
I don't like walking around barefoot. I'll either have slippers, socks, something on my feet.
Have you ever heard of grounding before?
No.
Okay. So I'll tell you about that when we get to the reflexology portion, okay? And so now, can we see what your feet look like up close?
Sure, you got sand on them though.
No, it's all good. I get all kinds of different, this is the whole point of it being impromptu. I'm coming up to you. You don't know I'm coming. Can you keep them extended? And can I see the bottoms? Yeah, there we go. All right. So what are your thoughts right now? How are you feeling in terms of the interview I'm going through?
I've never been interviewed about my feet.
Yeah. So how's it feel though? Are you comfortable or are you? Okay, cool. So let me tell you about the mental health aspect. Huh? Oh, can you leave them there because we're gonna go through a couple more exercises.
Sure.
So, and let me tell you about the mental health. Like I said, so I was watching the guy's channel during quarantine. He was talking about something called DBT. Have you ever heard of that before?
No.
Okay, it's dialectical behavioral therapy.
Okay.
And so it's for people who suffer from anxiety, depression. These are people who tend to not live in the moment. They overthink situations and outthink themselves out of that situation.
Okay.
And so basically what they try to teach you is that when you come across a situation that you feel uncomfortable with, that you should put yourself in that situation as much as possible, right?
Okay.
To do it over and over again, right? So that you can get used to that uncomfortable urge.
Okay.
And each time that you feel that, you should do a self-assessment and ask yourself, in that situation, what's the worst that's going to happen, right?
Okay.
There's not a threat to your life or to your safety. You should proceed with said action because you may experience like good event, pleasurable moment, meet new people, things like that.
Right.
What are your thoughts about that? Do you agree with that, or?
That sounds logical.
Uh-huh.
I think, one way to get over your fears is to challenge yourself to
Mhm.
kind of face them.
Yeah.
And I think the more you can put yourself in that situation, as long as it doesn't, threaten your life or your safety, the stronger you can become.
And the reason why we're saying that is because there are some things that these people tend to think about that are not life-threatening or anything like that. It could just be something as simple as, I don't know, putting gas in the car or something like that.
Okay.
And they tend to overthink was it the right moment to put gas? Should I wait? And things like that. And they outthink themselves out of the situation. So, so basically you feel like it's a situation by situation basis.
Yes.
Cool. All right, let's talk about reflexology, all right?
Okay.
So in terms of reflexology, it's the study of the different pressure points we have in our hands and feet.
Mm-hmm.
These points correlate back to other parts of our body. And basically through massage, acupuncture, things like that, we can alleviate stress and tension to different parts of our body.
Mm-hmm.
The parts that I'm talking about are called zones,
Okay.
right? And like I said, when you apply pressure to it through massage or acupuncture, you alleviate stress to other parts of your body. What are your thoughts about that? Did you know about that?
Yes.
Okay, all right. And is it something that you've already tried, or?
Yes.
Really? Has it worked?
It does work for me.
Sweet.
Yes.
I'm glad to hear that. So now with that being said, we've entered this portion. How ticklish are you?
Not very.
Okay. On a scale of 1 to 10, what do you think?
3, maybe 3, 4.
A 3, really?
Yeah.
Oh, would you mind if we test it on camera on your feet just to see?
Sure.
All right, cool. All right, we're gonna go right to left, and I want you to tell me. One's usually more sensitive than the other one is, and you just tell me like which one it is, okay?
Okay.
All right. So 1, 2, 3, and nothing.
A little bit.
Okay. Let's try the left now, and let's see what there's difference. Okay.
Okay.
1, 2, 3. Nothing.
A little bit.
Okay.
They're about the same, I think.
About the same?
Yeah.
Was it a 3 like you said?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, let me have you do a couple of exercises, and I like to see if you feel any pain or discomfort when you do this, okay? First of all, can I get you to bend your toes over and make a fist, okay? Do you feel any type of pain or discomfort from that? Okay. Relax. And let me get you to spread your toes and tell me if there's any pain or discomfort.
No.
Okay? No pain or discomfort. Okay. Last one, let me get you to wiggle your toes for about 10 seconds. Pain, discomfort?
No.
Okay, cool. Okay, you can relax. All right, so now we get to the end of the interview. I like to ask you, what was my approach like when I came up to you, asked you about the interview?
You were courteous.
Okay.
You seemed non-threatening. You were courteous, respectful. You said, excuse me. You asked my permission. You stated your need and your request. And, I'm pretty sure if I'd said no, you wouldn't have been a jerk about it. So.
Absolutely not. Yeah, I get a lot of no's, trust me. I've learned to deal with them.
Because you were, I'm not doing anything that would prohibit me from helping you out. So
Sweet. In terms of the interview, right, from start to finish, could you see the correlation, how everything lined up? Did it make sense to you? Did you learn anything new?
I learned the example about the young woman's quirk or so-called weird hobby.
Okay.
I never thought about my hobbies in that
Yeah.
way, so that was a different perspective.
Okay.
But everything flowed, yes.
Okay. What about the DBT? Were you able to pull anything from that? Like you learned anything new about that?
I knew about that. I've been familiarized with that before.
Okay.
But,
So it's kind of like a refresher for you.
Yes.
Cool. All right. And so the last thing I always ask everybody who does the interviews with me, is there something that you'd like to say to my channel from a mental health standpoint, something that maybe you've learned through life? Anything that you like to say?
Yourself.
Huh?
Be patient with yourself.
Be patient with yourself. Okay.
Yes.
That's a good one. Real nice and simple, but it has a lot of depth in there. All right. So once again, thank you so much. I appreciate you taking the time to do this interview with me, and I hope you have a great one. Okay.
Thank you, you too.
All right.